All right, good morning, folks. This is Tim Ealer. How you doing this morning? And today's Friday. Happy Friday, 14th November. And we'll jump right into the satellite loop here. Infrared showing clouds streaming into the west coast with an overall northerly flow, northwesterly flow going this way in the northeast. And a lot of moisture streaming into the southwest here, right? And some really ridging building in the middle of the country here, warming up quite a bit, right? And if we move to the radar associated with this, see where the most moisture is here on the west coast. Maybe some showers going on here in the northeast, but the middle part of the country is dry. So the focus is on the west coast, a little bit on the east coast, but not much going on. Mid-level water vapor loops helps us decipher this, right? Trough. Let's zoom out. Let's go to the global. A little bit better look at this. All right, so trough ridging in the middle part of the country. Another trough lifting out this way. Looks like the ridge is building even up into here, guys, right? So this pattern looks to continue for quite a few days here, a couple more days anyway. And we'll go over the precip forecast here. This flow from the northwest, well, not northwest, kind of just zonal really here. Kind of really a connection to the tropics way down in here. Subtropical jet maybe going this way. You would hope that bring us some rain down here, but I don't think it will. So moving on to the radar overlay with temperatures. Generally, you see the rainfall on the west coast here. Southerly flow, bringing in the warm temps here into the desert here. Quite warm in the desert, 60s and 70s, but you see generally 40s, 50s, 60s. I don't know why 46 seems kind of low. I don't know why it says that right there, but so, and a little bit of rain in Nova Scotia today, this morning, and some rain streaming off the lakes here. But again, mostly on the west coast. Really warmer up here to the north than it is in the central part of the country. Likely due to cloud cover and other things. So if we switch to I'm trying to switch to winds, but I'll show you that next. So yeah, not below freezing in very much of the country except way up north here into the northeast. Switch right real briefly to the local radar here. See if we got any snow going on. Maybe some snow, possibly up here. Maybe a little bit. But overall, not looking like much snow going on right now. So yeah, so it not very active for most of the country except on the west coast this morning. So as far as current hazards go, we have looks like a red flag warning up here into the high plains with some high wind warnings here, as well as a flood watch here in the Southern California, winter storm warning in the California mountains, winter weather advisory, and some other, looks like flash flood warning right along the coast there. And that's pretty much it, really, right there. So moving on to temps. We have, like we showed, let me refresh this real quick. 4 a.m. 50s, 60s for a good part of the country, or even in the 40s here, and the northern tier, northeast, not that cold. I mean, there's almost no temperatures below freezing right now, except way up into northeast Canada and northeast Canada, northwest, and yeah, into Canada in these areas here. Warm air really pushing up in here. Any snow that we had in the past couple days, this past weekend is likely melted by now. So, um, temperatures, 24-hour change in temperature. Cool off a little bit along the East Coast since yesterday. Not a lot, but here you can see where the change in temperature is pretty extreme. Yeah, in general, it's warmed up for most of the U.S. Current cloud cover along the West Coast, of course, the northern tier into Canada, on the Great Lakes, and some scattered clouds here in the south. Current wind gusts. You can see all the wind warnings and different wind advisors up in these areas. Up to 60 miles an hour in the mountains here right now. So these winds are screaming at the high elevations this morning. So observed snowfall in the past 24 hours. Let me refresh this, make sure. A little bit of snow yesterday, ending at 7 p.m. So we had a little bit of snow here. Move this up a little bit. 1 or 2 inches, not a lot. And some up here in the northwest. So when we look at the general pattern right now, we can see 500 millibars. This is vorticity, right? We have flow here, and you see this ridging building here, right? Oops, sorry. The ridging shifts to the east. That low spins off the west coast. You have a northwest flow aloft here in the northern tier of the United States. The ridging builds back in here. And you have a short wave moving through the flow, maybe bringing some precip to Colorado. Probably we'll look at the surface analysis to see if we can get that and duplicate this. And surface. All right. So there's your short wave, low developing at east side of the Rockies. You have a low up here in the northeast pushing through right before that. Swings northward. The heights at the low levels are pretty high here. And so warm temperatures, I'll tell you guys, it's going to be warm. This low develops on the east side of the Rockies, moves to the north. You switch back to this. Let's see. A little further through here. De-amplifies some, right? You have another trough that swings in on the west coast, and this is the 18th, which is 4 days from now. All right. I know this is a busy map, right? But overall, there's not a lot going on except along the west coast here. Moved a little bit further out to the 20th. And you go back to this. Maybe forecasting a deeper low here to develop into Mexico, which will likely lead to cyclogenesis here, right? And this looks like a front pushing through, maybe. But the source region is a Pacific, guys. So not a lot of cold air to work with here. So go back to the surface. See that cold front pushing through? Pretty deep, low develops. Moves northward. You can see there's not a lot of cold air, right? And there's no snow really with this, even on the backside of it. All right, the cold air is all bottled up here, which, it's not even December yet. We're getting through the 22nd here. A little bit further out. 7 p.m. That low keeps moving, trucking to the north there. You get 240 hours out. Let's move our vorticity analysis up further. Maybe a low develop along the east coast here, but it's progressive, right? So, not to say this is a forecast, guys, but this is what the European is showing, okay? This is pretty far out. I'm just showing general trends right now, okay? So, what you're seeing up here, though, is really deep flow coming this way with this trough here, okay? And what the models are hinting at is possible intrusion of colder air pushing down on the lee side of the Rockies. You see when this system moves to the north, it's still very warm on most of it. And the cooler air, you see the 540 line moving down here, okay? Still, cold air is kind of bottled up here in the northern part of the U.S. and the East Coast. Let's go a little bit further out. Still stays relatively warm. You see the southerly flow here. Another trough off the northwest coast with a connection to the Arctic right here. Okay. A little bit further out. The ridging stays entrenched here. And this is the European model. Okay, this isn't the Bible. I could go over models all day, but let's just do a model comparison here. This European AI. You can see difference here. So this is the GFS. Big difference, right? This far out. So, and this is the CFS climate, CFS climate system, right? So, trying to predict this far out, you can see the differences in European regime staying firm, GFS, really progressive pattern, somewhat more progressive pattern, the potential of a really strong system moving through here, right? European AI kind of is on the GFS side with this, right? The CFS is totally different. So, yeah, a lot of uncertainty there, guys. So, now, take this for what it's worth. This is 500 millibar height anomalies for longer out. So this is starting on the 24th. This is a weekly European output, right? And 500 millibar height anomalies, colder air signifies is with the cooler colors, warmer air, the mid levels. Likely translating to the surface is higher height levels of 500 millibars. Move this through, right? The warm air really gets this far out, guys. I just don't. You get past this time frame, it's just a very general trend here. Not generally showing some maybe northwest flow impinging on the northern tip of the U.S., but I don't know. I was going to go over the stratospheric warming possibilities here, but I really like to research it some more before I do that because there's a lot of uncertainty out there and people talking about it, and trying to understand the dynamics involved with it. Even as a meteorologist, we don't talk about the stratosphere that much because um, that's done in the sensible weather realm normally, but from what I understand, stratospheric warming can trigger polar vortex anomalies, which can disrupt it and send cold air from the Arctic down into the continental U.S. or Russia or other places. So um, we'll keep this with the trend that for the at least short to midterm, it's going to be warm in the eastern U.S., east of the Rockies, and maybe cooler, likely cooler here in the West Coast, right? On the western U.S., right? So past that, uh, you know, like I said, I'm not too bullish on one solution or the other at this point. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that. Now, next I'm going to go over the temperatures for the next 7 days, like I always do. Uh, Severe weather outlook, excessive rainfall outlook, and that's about it for today. Thanks. Be right back. So as far as temperatures go, high temps today, 70s, 80s, even 90 here into Texas. The most of the country is going to be really warm. I mean, look at that. Tonight, 60s, 40s, maybe some 30s up in here in the Northeast and the Intermountain West. Tomorrow, pretty much rinse and repeat here, guys. And next day, cooling off of the northern tier and the Northeast a little bit, Intermountain West. Sunday, cooling off some more in the northern tier. And we get a little more of a northwest flow, and some cloud cover and precip in the Intermountain West, bisecting the nation here. Sunday in the morning, you're going to have 30s, the northern tier. Lows in the 60s here in the deep south. Lows Monday morning, cooling off some here, although staying quite warm in the deep south. Maximum temps still not particularly cold for most of the nation, right? Day 5, a Tuesday, cooling off some, right? We see that here, but I would say this is close to normal, maybe a little bit below normal, right? Max temp still very warm here, for a good portion of the nation, really split in half, So, um, day 6 minimum temps getting colder in the Mountain West into the northern high plains, staying cool in the Northeast, but that push of warm air is pushing back up here, right? On the West Coast. Kind of cool here along the West Coast. That's pretty interesting. The 40s here, California coastline. Interesting. The max temps next Thursday, still 70s, 80s. It yeah. So what I wanted to do was go over the snowfall forecast the next 48 hours as well. Mountain West. Well, Cascades, Sierras, into the northwestern high plains and the mountains, the foothills here, and into the northeast, right? Um, nice wind gusts expected here in the Intermountain West, and maybe some higher winds down here in Texas and the northern tier of the U.S. All right, so um, now let's go over the precip expected next 24 hours, mostly on the West Coast. We talked about this, and then some in the Northeast here. 48 hours, 72 hours. You're going to have some flooding here, guys. This is 4, 5, 6, 7 inches in the Southern California. The northwest flow, you get some more precip here in the Northeast and the Northwest. Maybe where a boundary is setting up, you get more precip here in the Ohio Valley, the Mississippi Valley, and maybe in the Texas. Bullseye out here, and they talked about this yesterday with the possibility of heavy rain here with the boundary setting up. So day one excessive rainfall. We have a moderate risk now here in Southern California with the possibility of flooding today. So heavy rain going on, guys, right in the Northwest here. You have a slight risk, marginal risk up here. Whoa, okay. This is really uptrending since yesterday. Moderate risk, excessive rainfall, flooding likely out here. Well, not likely, but 40% is a pretty high risk. Moderate risk is pretty high. That's for Saturday, okay? On the West Coast, the marginal risk again. Moves a little bit further south. And we don't have anything at for the 18th, which is 4 days from now. Well, 5 days, but SPC outlook today. General thunderstorms along the California coast here. You still have a marginal risk of severe weather up here, the border, Pennsylvania, West Virginia area, right? And mostly a wind risk today, right? That's pretty much a marginal wind risk, right? Categorical for tomorrow. General thunderstorms in the desert southwest and the mountain west. And day 4, 5, 6, 7. Nothing shown here. So, yeah, for the next couple of days, going to have some serious flooding concerns out west here. All right. So I'm going to switch over to a little bit the hazards outlook real quickly. Then we'll be done. Yeah, so this is the hazards outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, November 21st to the 27th. Slight risk of excess heavy precip, which is rainfall in this dotted area here. Snowfall, slight risk of heavy snow, the 21st to the 27th. So not too bad. Wind, we have a slight risk of high winds for a good portion of the west here and into the lower Mississippi Valley, Ohio Valley, into parts of the Mid-Atlantic here. So interesting. Temperatures, slight risk of below normal temperatures here in the northern tier of the U.S. The 26th to the 27th toward the end of the period. And we kind of talked about that a little bit. So day 6 through 10 temperature outlook issued yesterday. Above normal temperatures expected on the east of the Rockies. Below normal in the west of the Rockies. Precip. Make sure see where the bullseye is in the central U.S. East central U.S. Lower Mississippi Valley. This is something I haven't seen in a while, where most of the nation is expected to have above normal precip. Have a good chance anyway. Temps hold on to warmer than normal. The 21st through the 27th here, east of the Rockies, west of the Rockies, below normal. Precip, good chance of above normal precip in the central U.S. And on the coast here, maybe normal precip chances. So so yeah, likely a wetter pattern setting up for most of the U.S. Cooler temps in the western U.S. I'm getting old, guys. 58. And the eastern U.S. staying pretty warm east of the Rockies. So anyway, hope you all have a good day, and God bless.